It's just one of those days when you don't wanna wake up. Everything is fine, everybody's sad. You don't really know why, but you intensify. No human contact. If you interact, your life is on contract. Your best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. Stop the cheese and bullshit. Demon quit, let it slip. Stop the cheese and bullshit. Demon quit, talking that shit. Just one of those days. Alien freight train, it's worth one to complain. Wait for the blessing. Yeah, right, I'm a maniac. Everyone's your bad. That nigga sucked up, just fucked up. Next one get fucked up. Best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. Stop the cheese and bullshit. Demon quit, let it slip. Stop the cheese and bullshit.
Hey, hey, hey! Hey, Lisa MELCHERT here. How are you doing tonight? Cannot wait. I'm glad it's Tuesday night, not Thursday anymore. Tuesday night, coming at you live on Tuesday night, 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. So I have an amazing musician in the background. He's in the green room, and I'm going to pull him out right after this, if my computer works. All righty, hang tight, and Richie Rivera. How you like that? That was amazing. I love it. I always start off with a video. I just have to. Just going to show you all what they do. I know, right? I know. All right. So I am going to pull him out of that green room. All right. Let's go. Hey, Richie.
Hey,
How are
Lisa.
you?
I'm good. How are you doing? Yeah, I don't know if you can tell or not, but you're kind of you're cutting in and out. Sorry.
Still glitching? Oh, no.
Still a little glitchy. Yeah.
It's okay. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No problem. I actually had.
I'm so sorry about that.
That's totally okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
I can. Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. Good.
Yes. All right. So hopefully this glitch will let us get through the interview. Richie Rivera.
Hey.
Hey.
All right.
So,
I'm excited for this.
Yeah. So, yes. So how long have you been drumming? When did you start?
So I started when I was 11 years old. To be honest, I actually have a picture of me on my Instagram when I'm like 4 years old, banging on a Mickey Mouse bass drum and wearing a cowboy hat, which is pretty adorable. So I always had a fascination with the
nice.
drums.
I would love to see it.
Yeah, it's on. If you go to Richie Rivera Music on Instagram, it's there. It's probably me at my prime. It was all downhill after 4. But what happened was after many years, finally in the 6th grade, my elementary school was starting to offer beginning band. And that was something that I was interested to do, but I was reluctant to do it because I had grown up taking different kinds of lessons, like golf lessons, tennis lessons, skiing lessons. And I always hated being told what to do, which is still very much the case to this day.
There we go.
So for me,
anyway, we have Richie Rivera here on Front Row Promotions.
Okay, sorry, it's still a little glitchy. Like you're still kind of frozen. I can't really hear anything. Can you hear me? All I see is a frozen face. Okay, are you there? I got nothing on my end. Anything? No, you're still. I still only see frozen. You're kind of locked into place. I don't hear anything either. Anything? Maybe do you want to restart? Maybe if you reboot on your end, maybe that'll help. And now I don't see you at all. I don't know if this means I'm taking over the program or what. If this just became the metal hour with Richie Rivera or what, but. All right, I think Lisa left the chat. I think we're going to figure out some of the technical issues here. I think this is still going. So in the meantime, if you're at home watching this, sit back, grab a drink as we work through a couple of technical issues on our end. I'm going to have a Mountain Dew because that's what I do. Oh wait, is she coming back? I think there's some movement, or maybe that was just a change in the graphic. This is the 21st century. You know, technology is amazing right up until it isn't. But if you guys are watching, I appreciate you sticking around, and we'll see how long it takes to get some of these kinks worked out.
Hey, thank you.
You
thank you for carrying the show, Richie. You're amazing. You're super
Good.
cool.
Got you. Okay, good. We're back in business. This looks like a much more stable connection, whatever's going on over there.
Yeah, I'm closer to the internet box. So when I go into the area, other area, it's not reading the internet as well, I suppose. So, all right.
Okay.
So it was such a good setup I had in there, but it's just not going to work. I had it. It was real professional looking, all of it. You know, I'm growing as a podcaster here, but you know,
yeah, no,
it happens.
It's all good. It's all good. We'll make lemonade out of lemons.
So since we're having a better connection, yeah. So tell me, I think we were at the question where was when you got started. You were age 11. Okay. Yeah. So tell me about that again.
So my elementary school at the time was offering beginning band, which I was totally excited to do, but I was kind of concerned with the whole lessons thing because I hate being told what to do. But I found out that that's some things never change. But I found out that if you take the first hour, or if you take beginning band, you get to miss the first hour of school every day. So I found that out, and I was just like, sign me up, because I would have chopped off my left arm to miss an hour of school. So and then I started taking.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah, so I started taking those lessons, and then from there got kind of good at it kind of quickly, and then transitioned to private lessons after that until about junior year of high school, and then I gave lessons to like 7th and 8th graders.
Oh, sweet. Oh, that's nice. So once you learned it, you signed everybody else up for learning. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I always wanted to do music and do stuff with that, but then I could just I just could never get into it. And all my friends were like, oh, you're going to be stuck. You're going to be. I just wish I would like follow my own path and not follow them. So sometimes looking back, it's kind of hard to do.
Sure. But you ended up where you are, and that's all that matters.
Exactly. I think sometimes it's best if I just do what I'm doing right here and just leave the music to the musicians like yourself.
No problem.
Leave it to the professionals.
We need people like you in the audience, so everyone's got their role to play. So it all works out.
There you go. Yeah, we're all supporting and doing, and if it wasn't for you making the music, wasn't for me to put you out there, you know, asking you millions of questions and getting people to know who you are, which you're already popular and all. I'm just used to saying that when I'm working with the younger ones, you know.
Sure.
So
yeah, well, the quest for world domination never ends. So
right. So tell us about you're in Janet Gardner. How did that happen? Working with Janet Gardner.
So that came about because I had played previously with her husband, Justin James, who's her husband, guitar player, co-writer, co-producer, co-life partner, co-everything. And what had happened was he was playing in a band, and I knew the lead singer of that band. It was this project, and they had a couple of dates that the drummer couldn't do. Like one was opening up for Bret Michaels, one was opening up for Ace Frehley. And because of that connection, I got the call. I learned their whole album. And Justin and I just sort of clicked right away. We had this immediate chemistry on stage and off. We both love all the obscure 80s hard rock bands that like nobody except for the band members and the mothers of their band members have ever heard of. And so, you know, we just clicked like that. And then I kept playing drums for them for a while until that project dissipated. And then fast forward a few months later, he and Janet meet. They fall madly in love. They get married. And Justin and I had stayed in touch the whole time. And so when, you know, one weird day, he called me up out of the blue and he was just like, hey, dude, so Janet and I are doing an album together and we want you to be the drummer for the tour. And I immediately said yes, because like, well, I mean, my whole thing is like in the music industry, my golden rule is that I'll say yes to anything, figuring that 90% of what I say yes to never happens. So I don't really have to worry about it. And so I was like, yeah, sure, I'll be your drummer. He's like, okay, cool. I hung up the phone, didn't give it a second thought. And then a few months later, he calls me again. He's like, all right, dude, so we booked the first show. And I'm sitting there going, oh, this is going to happen. Oh, okay. So I guess I better learn these songs. So he sent me the album. I learned all the stuff. And we had our first show outside of Chicago. And there wasn't like, so there was no audition or whatever. It was like, the gig was mine. And I guess if I sucked, there wouldn't have been a second gig. And so I pull up to the rehearsal spot. Janet comes out to greet me. Could not have been nicer. She was just like, hey, let me help you with your gear. And I was like, oh, that's super sweet. But you don't have to do that. Like, you're Janet Gardner. Like, you could just sit there in the corner and be Janet Gardner, rock goddess.
There you go. Yeah, right. Yes.
I'll load my own gear. And so we played the first song. And afterwards, she turned to me and was just like, that was flawless. Like, I've got no notes. If you do that, we're good. And that was in 2017. And I've been playing with them ever since. So
that is so cool.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Everybody in the band is great. I mean, Janet is an incredibly humble and amazing human being who just also happens to be one of the most badass rock singers on the planet.
Absolutely.
Justin and I get along great. The bass player, Anthony G, he and I get along great. And so it's just a big family that sort of just, when we go on tour, we love hanging out with each other. And it's just a great group of friends who are interrupted by having to play an hour of music at night. But aside from that, we're just kind of hanging out, and it's an amazing situation. I'm very, very lucky.
Oh, that is so sweet. I'm so glad. And how long have you said you've been with her?
Since her first solo show, which was, I believe, 2017.
Oh, okay. Awesome. That is so cool. It's so cool how you all get along and you're all doing, you go out after and everything like that. And, you're good friends as well as, doing your musical stuff together.
It's very, very cool. And they actually, so she's had 4 solo albums, or at least like collaborative partnerships with her husband, Justin. And there's a 5th one that they just finished up. So that's going to be coming out. I'll wait for them to make the announcement, but there should be an announcement about that soon. And then touring for that will resume once that's out and available.
When's your next show? I know you're touring. So when you have a few shows coming?
I do personally, because I play with a few different artists. With Janet, I believe the only thing that we have on the books right now is something in October. Okay. But for me, I'm playing this is the summer, so it's the busy season for long-haired weirdos such as myself. So I was in Denver last weekend. I was in Missouri, then Wisconsin, then Indiana the previous weekend. This weekend is actually one of my few weekends at home, but I've got a show Friday night. I got 2 shows actually. Friday night with 2 different bands in Nashville, and then Saturday night I'm playing a festival about an hour outside of Nashville. So for me, I'm always kind of I got a lot of irons in the fire.
Yes, you're doing this, doing that, doing something else over there, and you're traveling. Oh Lord! So what's that like, traveling to show, and what's that feeling like being up there on the stage? I mean, that has to be so cool.
Yeah, I mean, those are kind of 2 different feelings. I mean, the traveling thing is just something that one endures in order to get to that stage. Although I personally, I'm kind of a weirdo. I'm a road dog by nature, so I actually kind of like the traveling. I like the packing, cool. And I like the hotel rooms. I don't necessarily always like it if the flights are late or if something goes wrong, but that you kind of just have to roll with the punches once you're out there in the trenches. So I love it. And I love the feeling of being plopped into a new city that you've never been to before, and suddenly it's like you're hungry. Okay, well, where do I get something to eat? And you sort of switch into hunter and gatherer mode because you're very aware of your surroundings. Somebody like me, who's a naturally creative person, things like routine are kind of the enemy of creativity. And so if you're doing the same thing every day, taking the same route to work, taking the same route back, going to the same bars, whatever it is, that eventually wears on me. So I like the newness. I like the new stimulation. I like the adventure of it all. So I like that part. And then the hour on stage, or 2 hours, or in some case 4 hours, as the case may be. I mean, that's the best feeling in the world. That's suddenly you switch from Clark Kent to Superman. You feel invincible, and you love at least I do. I love making people smile and have a good time and forget whatever is going on in their world, job, school, relationships, family, whatever it is. Like,
Yes, let it all go. Yeah.
For the time that I've got you, like, you're mine, and I'm
Yes.
gonna make sure I'm gonna do my damnedest to entertain you, or die trying.
Absolutely. And you have an amazing smile. Let me tell you that. I
Oh,
love
thank you.
it. You do. You
See,
do. You have an amazing smile.
now the camera's going to catch me blushing. I don't know if you can blush in high definition or not, but yeah. Well, thank you. That's very kind. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. So I noticed that you said you do a lot of session work. And I noticed you said, I wrote down my notes because I didn't want to forget this question. You have animated projects such as Eek the Cat.
Yes.
And Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Muppet Treasure Island. So tell me what that's about.
So that came about. This is kind of a weird story. So I went to this very fancy private college preparatory high school in LA, and I could care less about anything that school had to offer, with one exception, which was my orchestra class, because I had a teacher named Nathan Wong, who he was already at that point, when I joined the orchestra in like the 9th grade, he was already scoring films for like Jackie Chan and Steven Spielberg, and doing a lot of these sort of session works, musical theater stuff as well. And I think he could sense in me somebody that really wanted this. Like, I wasn't taking orchestra just for like an easy grade or as an elective. Like, I wanted to do this. And so he sort of took me under his wing. Right. And at the age of 14, he started shooting me these session gigs. And the first one was actually for the animated version of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, which was called Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures, plural. And he was like, yeah, we need a song that sounds like Van Halen. Can you play drums like Alex Van Halen? And I was like, yes, I can. Well, in fairness.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, in fairness, I can't. Like, and I never will be able to play like Alex Van Halen because he's a god. But at the time, I said yes. And so I went over to his house and I got paid $150 for it. And at that moment, I sort of became a professional musician. Like, somebody paid me to play drums. And from that moment, he started shooting me all these other gigs, like you said, the Muppet Treasure Island thing, and a bunch of commercials and TV theme songs, and private artist sessions and musical theater jobs. And to this day, all these years later, all these decades later, he still gets me gigs. He still says, hey, can you play drums on this? And, he is one of the most remarkable human beings I've ever met, easily the most talented musician I've ever met, because I think he went to USC and graduated when he was like, maybe, I don't know, like 13 or 14. Like, he's a prodigy, and nice. and the most beautiful human on the planet. And meeting him taught me so much, not only about music, but also about performance, about preparation, about operating under pressure. Sometimes when you don't necessarily have all the music beforehand and you're thrown into a situation, you have to remain cool under fire. And yes. Anytime I'm in a crazy situation, I very much lean on the teachings of Nathan Wong to get me through. So, so that's how that came about.
That's very, very cool. And like you always keep your plate full with giving you this, giving you that, and then different things like that. That's really nice. That's really cool. I like that. As I was reading about you, and I saw the Bill and Ted, because I'm a big fan, and I said, okay. Bill and Ted, what? All right,
Yeah.
So, that's so cool. So what's it like being a drummer? I mean, tell me like I got a drumstick because I've collected drumsticks over the years, going to shows.
Nice.
Ding, ding, ding.
Very cool.
I love drums. How do you do that what you call it?
The spinning.
the spinning. Yes, I'd love to learn how to do that. What do you do? What is
see, do I have a drumstick near me? I got a mallet. So here, I'll give you a lesson real quick. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so the first thing you do is you make a peace sign.
Okay, I got to balance my computer.
Yeah.
That's a piece. First, makes a piece on
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
this is the first rule of drumming. You have to be able to multitask. So,
Oh, yes.
so you make a peace sign, and then you put the stick like maybe about a third of the way down, like so it's only like 1/3 showing. So scoot the stick back towards the back of it. Yeah, good.
Oh, down this way.
So there's two ways to do this. So I'm kind of screwed up in many respects. And I do this backwards, but most people do it forwards, but I learned how to do it backwards. And so what you do is you take the stick and then almost. So what you do is you hold it so your thumb is like facing forward. And then what you do is you like grip the stick like this. Like hold it like this. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh.
Yeah. And then what you do is with your thumb facing forward, you just kind of flick it backwards. Yeah. So what you get is this. You get this in slow motion. You get that. And if you do it often enough, you just get that. But it starts with one. So it's just if you just practice this. Yeah. A lot of people do it forward. I can't really do it forward very well, but it takes practice. But
that's practice. I can see that.
That's the most. I had a drum teacher once who said that 50% of drumming is actually drumming. The rest of it is just looking good. And so if you can get this down, you're halfway there.
Oh, okay. Now, do you ever like when I see you toss them up, and then how do you know you're gonna catch it? Come back down and grab it.
In all honesty, I literally have no idea that I'm going to catch it every single time. I'm hopeful, but I've had sticks go flying. I've had sticks hit other band members. I've smacked myself in the face. It's not a it's not a surefire thing. But I will say the one thing I always do is if I throw a stick and I miss it, I immediately try to throw it again just to like redeem myself, just so it's not just so you don't get in your head about it. Yeah. You never know where it's going to land.
That is true. Now I see guitars in the background. Do you play guitar also?
I do a little bit. So I taught myself how to play in college because what happened was I'm from LA originally, and for reasons that are ridiculous, I ended up going to college at the University of Vermont, so halfway across the country. And I don't know if they still, froze my balls off. But I don't know if they still have this rule or not. But at the time, they had a rule that if you were an out-of-state student, you had to live on campus for the first 2 years, which presents a little bit of a problem as a drummer because you can't really have a drum set in your dorm room. This is before things like V drums and other electronic drums were popularized on the consumer level. And so I was kind of going stir crazy, like not having a creative outlet. And a friend of mine who lived on my floor, he was like, I was telling him about this, and he said, "Hey, do you want to borrow my acoustic guitar?" And I jumped at the chance because I always loved acoustic music. Growing up in the 80s, in the era of the power ballad, I learned very quickly as a kid that if you saw the lead singer strap on an acoustic guitar, this was going to be a really good song. So I was like, yes. So I love 80s power ballads, and I was also at the time getting into like 90s folk rock. There was a label called Aware Records that started putting out these compilations of bands like Jacko Pierce, Guster, early Vertical Horizon before they went electric, and things like that. And I really started loving what an artist named Matt Nathanson, he calls it man folk, which I think is a very funny title, but very accurate description. So if you take my love of 80s power ballads and combine it with my obsession with man folk, I jumped at the chance to learn how to play acoustic guitar. And so I kind of taught myself. I downloaded the chord progressions to my favorite songs, like I Saw Red by Warrant and all that kind of stuff. And I started learning how these songs are constructed. Again, I didn't have any training as far as like musical theory. I didn't know what sharps and flats and fifths and fourths and all this kind of stuff were. So I just started noticing patterns of how these songs are sort of constructed. And then from there, I started writing my own songs. And then from that point forward, every actual band that I was ever in, I was one of, if not the primary songwriters in every band.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I noticed that too. It said you're a songwriter as well.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes. So how do you come about writing songs and stuff like that? Do you write are you writing for what you yeah, tell me about that.
I mean,
Trying to
for
get
me,
that question.
sure.
I'm
No, I
sorry?
mean, for me, it's an inherently selfish exercise. Like I don't necessarily write for projects necessarily. I don't like write to get a song in a movie or for in the hopes of another artist covering it or things like that. I write them kind of for me,
Yes.
and if people like them, great, and if they don't, that's okay too. Like
Yes.
because
Yeah.
them liking it wasn't really the point. It was more just the expression of the idea,
Yeah.
and which is very cool, and it actually leads to the fact that I'm actually going to be releasing my first ever solo album. Hopefully, I'm looking at the fall
Oh,
for it.
good.
Yeah, and it's a collection of songs that I wrote that are deeply personal that I hope people will at least gravitate towards. But honestly, just getting it out there will be that's the win right there. So I'm very
Yes.
much looking forward to that because ever since I moved to Nashville, I've been more in the hired gun session drummer sideman capacity, and so which is fun. It's great. It's an amazing job. You get to travel the world and have a ton of fun and see a lot of cool things that you may not be able to see otherwise. But in those situations, your job is inherently just to execute somebody else's vision, and
Okay.
which in and of itself is a skill. But this is an opportunity for me to sort of express myself creatively for the first time in a while. So
Yes.
I'm very much looking forward to getting it out there and seeing what happens with it.
That's amazing. Congratulations. That would be awesome.
Thank you.
So you're welcome. I love to hear it. I love to hear it. Yes. I'm sure I can feel, I love the beat of the drum, and I know it's what carries the whole song out because you got to have that beat.
You
You
do.
got to have that beat. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it keeps I think that was it the rhythm and whatever else is, I don't know too much about it, but you got to have that. It carries the beat. Yes.
Yeah. We're the foundation. Like,
That's what I'm trying to say. Bingo.
yeah.
You got it. You got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I set them up, they knock them down. That's how
Yeah,
it
there
works.
you go.
Yeah.
There you go. I love that. Um so yeah, you were in a few bands like way back. You were like several different bands. Um Let me see. I like the name of this one band. It's Blurred Vision. I have that a lot of times. I had that when I had cataracts.
Right.
Call it Blurred Vision. I
Yeah.
like that.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then it was featuring Adam Levine. Did I read that right?
Yeah.
He was
That's
in that.
correct.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah. We actually, in a very indirect way, we may be responsible for the creation of Maroon 5, which, how you feel about that is either a plus or a minus. But what happened is that in Blurred Vision, it was formed by a bunch of kids who went to my school, and we have the unique distinction of playing the troubadour when we were, I think, 14 or 15 years old, the night of the LA riots. And so, which was kind of interesting. And so we played one show, and I think that the original concept of the band was that they wanted to be like the Beatles, where like it wasn't like one lead singer, there were like multiple lead singers. But Adam at the time was far and away the best singer in the band. At the time, he had more of like a raspy rock voice, like not so much the kind of falsetto neo soul thing he does now, but like he had a raspy rock voice. And so, but he was also kind of a handful. And so there was another guy in the band who I think wanted to be the lead singer. And so he called me up and asked me like, hey, what do you think about firing Adam? And I was like, well, he's the best singer, but I'm fine with whatever you guys want to do. And so they got rid of him. And then Adam went and got a couple of other guys from the high school that we went to. And that became a band called Cars Flowers. And that band ended up getting signed right out of high school, then getting dropped. And then Adam, I think, moved, I want to say to New York. Maybe I could be wrong. But then he moved somewhere and then kind of reconstituted his sound, developed a sort of neo soul thing, came back to LA, grabbed a bunch of the guys from Cars Flowers, and that became Maroon 5.
Oh, I see. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So he had to start. Blurred
yeah,
vision. It's like,
the
and then
blurred
he had,
vision.
yeah.
That's where it
That is
all
so
began
cool.
for,
I
for
never,
both of us.
something I never knew. And it's nice to know. Very
There you
cool.
go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can win a couple trivia contests with that.
I could, couldn't I? That would be good. 9 Miles. I never heard of that one. And,
Yeah. So 9 Miles and Rain Check were both my bands in college. 9 Miles was
Rain
more
Check. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
9 Miles was more progressive. Kind of like we were really into Dream Theater, Eric Johnson, kind of more musically, technically demanding stuff. And so that's what that band was. And then a few of those members then became Rain Check, which we got a female lead singer, she was very classically trained and was kind of like a hard rock version of the Cranberries, like that sort of vibe. And we put out one album. We put out one album called Beauty Before Change, and then everybody graduated from college and went their separate ways. And then and then I moved back to LA, and that's when I started Madison Page with my good friend Damon Valley, the guitar player. And that band went on to, we were together for like 7 years, put out an album called Famous Last Words, another EP called Any Day Now. And that was sort of a melodic rock type band that just, I think, maybe suffered from bad timing, because when we came out, it was the early 2000s. And at the time, you either had to be like a new metal band or like a boy band. Like it was either like all balls and no melody, or all melody and no balls. And here we come out,
man, yeah.
And here we come out wanting to be the next Bon Jovi or Journey or whatever. And it just, the timing wasn't quite there. I think if we'd come out maybe 5 years later, it might have been a different story. But I'm still very close with everybody. In fact, the singer for Madison Page is singing on my solo album, and the guitar player for Madison Page, Damon, he's actually playing on a couple of songs on the album. So everybody stayed close and friendly, but it just, the band kind of ran its course.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. And then you're also touring, or you have band, you're in 2 other, was it? I can't remember anything. That's why I got to write it down.
That's okay. So
I take notes. At least I have notes.
Right.
Hannah Anders and Herrick. I'm sorry.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So Herrick is an Americana band. It's a husband and wife. Their last name is Herrick. So, and they've been together since they were 12 years old. Like that's like a Cinderella story that you just never see these days. So,
I know. I think my ship has sailed. I haven't found the Mr. Prince yet. So, and if it hasn't happened yet, it ain't happening.
Right. Well, my ship turns out to be the Titanic. So.
Oh no, that's how I feel.
Yeah. What's that thing up there? Oh, that looks like fun. Oh, it turns out it's an iceberg. But anyway, so with Herrick, it's a husband and wife band, and the singer Donna is an amazing singer. She's kind of like, if you picture Ann Wilson from Heart.
I love her. Oh my God.
But with like sort of a country tonality. So kind of like Ann Wilson meets like Patsy Cline or something like that. So it's just an amazing powerhouse singer.
I just have chills all over my body just thinking that. I've got to hear her. Oh my Lord.
I highly recommend it. There's actually, so the latest single from them is a song called Underneath That Old Cowboy Hat, which is doing very well at country radio, actually. And I played on the single. And so if you want to check out a song, that would be a great one to start with them. But yeah, they're just a great band. And because of the success of that song, they've been getting a lot of attention lately. That's why I was in Missouri and Indiana and Wisconsin the previous weekend, because of a couple of festivals we were playing out there due to the success of that single. So that's been going well. I've been playing with them since right around maybe summer of 2019, I think. Yeah, I think that tracks. So summer of 2019, they've been together as a band much longer. I mean, they've had many different people kind of come in and out, but I've been with them for this long. And then Hannah Anders is a country artist, also based in Nashville, an amazing singer as well. Kind of like I want to say like maybe if I don't know how familiar with country you are, but like a Gretchen Wilson type, like kind of a
Yeah, Gretchen
like,
Wilson. Yes,
yeah,
yes. Oh, okay.
kind of like a rock influenced country kind of
Like a
thing.
Southern fried rock kind of
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
There
Yeah,
you go.
and so yeah, so she's doing very well. She's been going to the UK. She has a really big following in like Ireland and places like that, and so she's doing great.
Nice.
And yeah, the band is a lot of fun. The bass player Bobby Grosbeck, who also played on my album, is now on tour. One of the other artists he plays for is on the Keith Urban tour. So it's been.
I love Keith Urban.
Yeah,
Oh, I
I do
love
too.
my rock and roll, but I love Keith Urban. I grew up country. When I was 12, I hit and found rock and roll. Alice Cooper was my first mind. He did it. Alice Cooper changed my life.
Right.
There's
Yeah,
my
right.
story. But yes, Keith Urban. I grew up country. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So between Herrick, Hannah, Janet, and then a few other things as well, kind of in between, plus playing locally, it's been a lot of fun.
Wow, sounds like a wild ride.
Yeah.
You're constant busy. I can see you're on the go 24/7. So what do you do for your downtime? Do you have any downtime?
Yeah, as soon as I get some, I'll let you know.
Oh, okay.
I mean, basically, pretty much everything I do kind of revolves around music, whether it's writing it, recording it, rehearsing it, performing it.
Absolutely.
So I don't really have hobbies per se. I don't like collect stamps or coins or anything like that. I just if I'm not doing
Maybe
music,
albums.
maybe. Although to be honest, like everything these days is all digital. So I don't know when the last time I bought an album. I don't even own a CD player, which is sad. So it's pretty much anything that is not music related. It's either me watching Netflix or having some drinks at a bar or with friends or something like that. But yeah, I don't really.
That's true.
That's everything's so musical that it's not really. I don't really consider it work. So therefore, I don't really need time off from it. I mean, people may get burned out. I may need to take a break, but it's never a chore. Like I love.
You don't feel like it's. Yeah, you don't feel like it's a job. It's like something you want to do, and that what you love to do. Yeah.
Yes, very
so
much.
So it doesn't feel like draining. Oh, I gotta do this again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I love watching Netflix. That's all I do.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of YouTube, like that. What do you call it? The Lifetime channels. I gotta stop watching them because I'm like, oh my God, this can really happen. I don't want that. I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
I don't want that happening to me.
Isn't all the Lifetime movies? Isn't it just like somebody meets someone, they think they're amazing, they start dating, and it turns out that they like buried a body in the desert or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's why I gotta stop watching it.
Yeah.
Or so much of it, at least,
Right.
So what one word describes you as a musician? One word.
Ooh, that's a very good question. One word that describes me as a musician. I would say, well, I guess maybe lucky would be.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate, and that's never lost on me. That whatever I've been able to do, anybody who's ever wanted to do this, it's a tough road, and there are people who are way more talented than I could ever dream of being, that gave it up for whatever reason or had to make different choices in their life. Life happens, that's just the way it is sometimes. And I just feel very lucky to be able to do what I do.
Absolutely. Very cool.
Yeah. So.
And you do it well.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I do what I can with what I've got.
Oh, it was Sheila. There's yes, well, you do an amazing job. I want to play a video here, and I'm going to show, everybody else what you do. Well, they've seen it in the beginning, but I still want to show you something.
Sure.
My friend Sheila is saying, "Hey."
Hey, Sheila.
And she says, "Is this a dating app?" No.
Right. Yeah.
She said, "Just kidding."
Right. I'm swiping right.
Oh. Visionary of God says, "Hey, wait a minute. Did I enter?" He said the same thing. Ah! What?
That's very funny.
Said, "How are you? How are you?" Oh, we're having fun. We always have fun here on Front Row Promotions.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love the guest I have on. Very, very cool.
I appreciate that. It's fun being here.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And you're always welcome to come back. When
Okay.
you have new stuff to promote, you got to come here. Yes.
I will hold you to that.
Awesome. You got it. So I want to play a video if I can. Let's see. I'm better with the internet now. Now I need to move my whole office to another part of my house.
Right.
I worked hard on that too. Damn it.
Yeah, I'm sure that's always the way.
It is. Where'd I put my mouse at? I got to use my finger. All right, got to use the finger.
Yeah.
Oh, got to go back to old school.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, there we go. Nothing's wrong with this. Still works. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit.
That's okay.
A little bit crazy.
That's all right. We're all a little crazy.
That's right. So, alrighty, I'm going to pick this one right here. All right, Richie Rivera. Here we go. That is amazing. Look at that. Oh, so cool.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. And you just look like you have so much fun back there.
I'm throwing a party back there. It's a party of one, but I'm down for it.
Yes, I'm telling you, you look good, having fun out there, just enjoying. And that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was shot at JBJ's, which is John Bon Jovi's bar on Broadway here in Nashville. And the band that I was playing with there is a band called Hand Over Face. And I'm sort of one of many drummers they use. And that if you've seen video of John Bon Jovi and the band Bon Jovi coming and jamming with a band in Nashville, it's that band. And so but of course it's always on a day when I'm not playing, but
okay, yeah.
Which I would freak out if that was the case. But yeah, so that's where that comes from.
That is so cool.
And I think that song was in the 4th hour of our gig, because in Nashville on Broadway here, bands play for 4 hours straight, no breaks. And so I think that song I think was from the 4th hour of our set.
How do you play that long, that straight? Wow.
Yeah, it's a bit of a workout. I come from LA where you're playing half an hour, 45 minutes at the Whiskey, maybe an hour 15 if you're headlining. But to go from that to having to play for 4 hours straight, like it took me a little while. The first couple of times I did it, I felt like my body had fought a war, and the next day I was just done. But now I've gotten to the point where I can I try to stop or end the show as strongly as I started. So I don't want to kind of peter out as the night goes on. I want to just keep up the same energy level, because people come in and out. They don't care that it's your 4th hour playing because it's their first 5 minutes of seeing you. So I want to make sure
they don't want to see you sluggish or dragging or they don't want to see any of that. Yeah.
Exactly. So I want to give them the same show in the 4th hour that they would have gotten in the 1st hour.
In the first, yeah. Suppose you got to go to the bathroom.
Luckily, that hasn't happened with me. Is that true? Yeah, that hasn't happened with me. But because I think I'm just so engrossed in the moment, like the rest of my normal body functions just shut down.
It knows what to do. Yeah. It knows I'm working here. You better not have to pee.
Although I
don't drink anything while you're back there.
Well, yeah, you have to, because or else you'll die. So you are constantly pounding water or beer or whatever you have.
Yeah.
So I won't lie, I am grateful for the elongated guitar solo, where if the guitar player wants to go play Eruption or something like that,
that's
fantastic.
True.
Then I can go and do what needs to be done, and then come back and jump back in.
Oh, that's so cool. Yes. I love the drum solos. A lot of people but no, I love the drum solos.
see, I'm one of those weird drummers where I actually hate doing drum solos. Like it's a real thing for me.
Oh, okay.
And because I'm a song guy, so I get way more satisfaction out of playing like a really easy song that I think is great than some crazy drum thing that's just going to impress drummers. Like I would much rather spend those 4 or 5 minutes just playing a song. But if it's a requirement for, if people need it to kill time or whatever, I'll do it. But it's never my favorite thing. It's something I need to work on. I should sit down one day and actually come up with a good drum solo, because whenever I am faced with doing one, my body just starts flailing and I just start hitting stuff until it hopefully makes sense, and then I stand up at the end, pretend like I just accomplished something in life. So I'd like to be more thoughtful. I like to be more thoughtful about it, but I'd rather just play a song.
That's true. I get that. I understand. You're equipped to do what you want and what you're thinking, and that's your process of what you want to do. Yeah. That's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nope. Let me see. All right, we have more comments on the board. Sheila wants to know if you are single or married.
Thank you, Sheila. I'm very single. Yes.
There you go. Oh, visionary God said more cowbell on traps.
Absolutely. Come see me play. I'll smack a cowbell or two for you.
There you go. Oh, and Sheila said she missed it. Where are you from?
I'm from Los Angeles originally, born and for the most part raised. We took a slight detour in elementary school to live in Oregon for a time, a small town outside of Portland called Lake Oswego. But then we moved back to LA for the rest of junior high school and high school. And then now I live in Nashville.
Awesome. Where the music is.
That's right.
That's where the music is. And oh, she said something else. I meant. She said, "Wow, nice." Okay.
Okay.
And I'm going backwards up the ladder here.
Sure.
And she said, "May I ask what is your age?"
I am a spry 49 years old.
49. All right. Okay.
I'm a Capricorn. My turn-ons include. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, this is the Front Row Promotions dating game.
Yeah, it just became
the dating app. Oh, that's pretty cool. You go, Richie, on those drums, Sheila.
Oh, thank you, Sheila.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I think I got it. Oh, yeah, he's just liking it. Said, "Welcome to the jungle." Visionary of God there. Yes, indeed. The front row. They're my supporters. They're the main ones. And they said Richie rocks.
Oh,
hey.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes. He sure does. You sure do. Okay, and it went back up to, is this the dating game? All right. So.
All right.
It's like, no. We're learning about Richie and his musical journey.
Sure.
We're having a good time here.
Yeah.
Sorry we had a bad start, but as well as music, it's what happens. Sometimes you got to iron out the kinks and you get right back into it. You fall off the horse and get back on.
That's right. You just got to roll with it.
Absolutely. So what if you could give advice to someone just starting out in the music business, what would you tell them?
I would probably, it's sort of a twofold answer. I would say first, identify your goals. Like, what do you actually want to do? Because it's different for different people.
Right.
And once you figure that out, I would say come up with like a mental checklist to make yourself undeniable in achieving those goals. So if you want to be like the next, I don't know, Olivia Rodrigo or something like that, like, okay, then you need to take whatever steps need to be taken in order to achieve that, because this is an industry that is designed to say no to you at every turn. And so what you need to do is sort of make them unable to say no to you when they really want to. And so I would say that would be the best piece of advice. And also to never, to treat people well along the way, because that people will actually want to work with a less talented person that is a nicer person to be around. So if you are not a nice person and you happen to be awesome at what you do, that's even better.
Right.
But definitely don't forget that this is a people business, and it's not all about, your job doesn't begin and end when you're on the stage. Like, there's a lot more that goes into it. So just be mindful of that and enjoy the process, because if you're lucky enough to do this for a living, like, it's the best thing in the world.
Yes. I like that. Very, very cool, because you have to be nice to people, even when they talk down or mean to you. Thank you, have a nice day, out, then leave it alone.
Yeah.
Don't, you're out there, you're in the public eye, you don't want to create any problems.
Right.
You don't want to wind up in jail somewhere, and then then what do you got?
Yeah, very true. I think that one of the things that's really important to keep in mind, it's kind of like to keep whatever decisions affect your career to be within your control. And there are lots of reasons why you may not get a gig or may not achieve something. But if you can recognize what is within your power to control, then everything else, it's almost like it doesn't matter as much. Because, for instance, a great example is with what you were saying, with maybe someone's an asshole, and you just sort of say, okay, thank you, have a nice day. What you've done in that moment is you've taken that power back, because now if they ever want to call you for a gig or something like that, which they might because you didn't treat them badly, even though they treated you badly, you now have the power to decide for yourself whether or not you want to take that gig.
That's true. And then you have the power to say yes or no.
Yeah. Versus being an asshole, and now that power has been taken away from you. That decision-making power has been taken away from you and placed in the hands of somebody else.
Exactly. I see that. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
Perfect. I also saw that you're doing something with the 80s mixtape. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, so that's it's a 80s tribute band that's been around for a while. I think they've been around for like 10 years.
Okay.
I just started playing with them this summer. So initially as sort of a fill-in situation for their summer tour, and I think I might be doing it beyond that. And they're a great bunch of guys. It's awesome music. It's a pretty elaborate show. Everything, like they show like the video clips from the songs while we're playing them, and kind of like commercials from the 80s and things like that. So it's this big sort of like retro nostalgia trip. But everybody in the band is a pro level player, and they're all super nice guys. And we just played at the Broncos Stadium last weekend, and so it's a cool situation, and I'm lucky to do it. And it's music that I grew up loving anyway. And they cover the gamut, everything from like Rick Springfield to Motley Crue and all points in between. So
I love it. I love the 80s rock. Yeah, absolutely. I grew up in that era. I mean, I was there when they were on, Bon Jovi. I saw him like 2 or 3 different times. Def Leppard's my favorite.
Amazing band.
My Lord. Whew. And all the rest of them is just so cool. Heart.
Yeah.
I saw Def Leppard and Heart together at Hershey Stadium in Pennsylvania. Oh, and I had close seats. Wasn't right up front, but it was close. And I'm like, I was in awe the whole night. Oh, So yeah. So when do they travel different places? You're the mixtape.
Yeah. So we were just in Denver last weekend. We've got shows coming up in Indiana, Ohio,
Baltimore. Is Baltimore in there? In the mix?
Is that where you are? Are you in Baltimore?
Baltimore.
Okay. Yeah, it is not as of yet, but now that we know that you're there, we'll book something to kind of just for you. It'll be Lisa Fest.
That would be so cool, and you got to let me know when you're coming, because I will be there
Absolutely.
in the front row.
Damn right, just like the name says.
Absolutely, live up to my name.
Right.
Yes.
So there's a lot of traveling with them. Most of what they do is traveling. They do a lot of kind of outdoor festival stuff, private corporate gigs, things like that. So it's a fun band, and
that has to be cool.
Yeah.
Do you wear like all the like the 80s clothes and stuff like that?
We do. I will admit I'm the only guy in the band with real hair.
That is so cool. I love it.
Everybody else does the dress up thing, and I just sort of like walk out as I am, which is either a compliment or an indictment, depending on how you look at it. But so it's definitely a lot of fun, and they dress up and glam it up, and there's choreography. It's a whole stage. It's a show. It's entertainment. So
I love it.
I love putting on a show, and these guys do a great job of it.
Oh, I would love to see it. Definitely would love to see it. I'll keep watching your page to see any live feeds or any of your videos. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
definitely.
I haven't put any up from mixtape yet, but I probably will at some point.
Okay. That way I can go and check it out and see it. Is it on Instagram? Do you post a lot more on Instagram than you do on Facebook, or
it's kind of both? I don't do social media the way social media is meant to be done. So pretty much everything I post on one kind of goes on the other, which I think
that's true.
Which is not really what I'm supposed to do. I think they're supposed to be I think
it's connected. Facebook and Instagram are connected somehow, but I don't have enough time to be on all these other things. And I know you probably don't either, because you're traveling and doing different things there.
Yeah, I can barely,
And,
I can barely remember my own name. I don't need TikTok or,
I know
something else like.
it's way too much. Yeah.
The space in my brain, it's like it's prime real estate. There's only so much of it, and I can't fill it with any more platforms. Like I'm all platformed out. So
It's filled to the rim. No more,
yeah,
please.
that's it. Yeah, there's no more room at the end.
That's it. That's it. So do you have any merch out? I was looking. I couldn't find anything. Maybe, I don't know if you do, but I couldn't find it.
I don't actually. It's some. I've had a couple people ask me about that, and I just didn't think there might have been demand for it. What is going to happen is in conjunction with the release of my solo album, is that there are going to be bundles available for pre-orders. There's actually, if you go to my website, Richie Rivera Net, you can see there's a pre-order section where you'll sign up for it, and then you'll be the first to know about when the pre-orders are live and what the different bundles are available. And so I'm thinking, there's going to be, drumsticks are kind of the obvious thing, but
I want your drumsticks. I want signed drumsticks by you. I'll pay for them.
All right. Well, we will make that happen.
Awesome.
So drumsticks. People have asked me about shirts and things like that. Maybe if enough demand is there. Like I am nothing if not for sale. So I am a shameless whore of self-promotion. So if somebody wants my name or my face slapped on something, like I will do it. But I just didn't know what kind of demand there would be for something like that.
Right. I think you should. I want your smile on a face, on your smile on what I'm trying to say. I can't get this out. Oh my God. I want your picture with your smile on a tank top that has like a thin strap. I'm placing my order right now.
Okay.
And this kind of thin strap, tank top.
just the smile. That's all you want?
No, I want your whole face on it.
Okay.
and your beautiful smile and your name, Richie Rivera. Yes.
Okay. All right. I'll get my people on that.
There you go. There's my order.
Okay. That's one down.
One down.
Yes.
All right. I'm sure Sheila would want one too. So
okay. Well, I'll mark Sheila down. We got two.
There you go. Okay, let's see. I keep forgetting to look over on the comment section. Just me running the board. This is what Sheila said. Lisa, you and Richie both have beautiful hair and beautiful smiles. Wow, you guys would make a gorgeous couple.
Aww. That's super sweet. Thank you, Sheila.
Thank you, Sheila. And she said, love the smiles on both Richie and Lisa. Oh, very cool.
That's awesome.
That is. I'm just asking. That's all. It's all good. Oh, okay. She was talking about your age back over here. Nice age. No. Yes.
Thanks. It's the only one I've got.
What's that?
It's the only age I've got. So thank you.
Mine too. I'm gonna be a big number, and I know it's just a number. My birthday's coming up on August 24th.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna be.
What? So go ahead. I was just wish you a happy pre-birthday.
Oh well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm gonna be 60, but I don't feel it. I don't feel it. But
it doesn't matter what your driver's license says. It's all about how you feel.
That's right, and I don't feel 60, so.
Right. There you go.
That's what it is. Yes.
All right.
Oh, Sheila said you're so welcome.
Aw, that's awesome.
Oh, she's a sweetheart. But I'd like to play another song, and then we have a few more questions. I know you're probably getting hungry, or you want to do something else.
Right. I'm good. You got
good?
Me for
okay.
You got me for as long as you need me.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I think it's this one here. Yeah, I want to play this one right here. All right. All right. That was so cool.
Uh,
You're moving everything. I mean, no wonder you're tired. Are you tired afterwards after all that?
I am pretty spent after those after shows. Although I
I
will
can.
say, going back to your earlier thing about do I ever drop a stick in that performance, you can see I almost dropped one when I
Oh yeah.
tossed it right before the second chorus, I guess it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I barely held on to that one.
It's like
So yeah, sometimes
yeah.
sometimes it's it's not always perfect, but it's rock and roll.
It's you just yeah, that's true. You just never know if it's gonna catch it. But I saw that. I said, ah, there it is. There
Yep,
it is.
there it is.
So cool. So cool. So do you have any stories or anything you want to share while we have you?
Just that talking about the release of my upcoming album. I'm very, very excited about it. It actually is a collection of songs that I wrote following the breakup that I had many years ago.
Okay.
And it's sort of about, it's not about the relationship itself, it's more about trying to put yourself back together again in the aftermath of something like that. And
Gotcha.
some of the questions that you're faced with in trying to remember who you are in the first place, and is that who you are now? So these are songs that I wrote never thinking anyone would ever hear them. They were not designed to be played on the radio or put in films or have other people cover them. It was never intended for any of that. It's simply a pure artistic expression of trying to make some semblance of what happened make sense. And so it's been a long gestating project, and it wasn't until COVID happened that I started thinking like, okay, I think I actually want to really release this for real. And so I started putting it together and getting the players involved. I did demos of all the songs with me playing everything horribly and singing everything even more horribly, and kind of use those as a skeleton to give to people like guitar players, whoever, and say like, okay, this is kind of what I'm thinking now, make it good. So I have on the album, Janet is actually singing backup on a couple songs. Her husband, Justin, is playing on a couple of those same songs. I
Awesome.
have Peter Gallinari, who's the keyboard player for Tiffany, is on one song so far. I have a good friend of mine, Kitten Karoy, who is now one of Billy Idol's backing singers. She's on tour with him right now. She's singing backup on a few songs. I've got my old guitar cohort, Damon Valley from Madison Page, on guitar for some songs. So it's just a bunch of people the close friends of mine that I thought would do a good job. And
Absolutely.
So I'm very excited about that. The first single is a song called Burnout Bright, and I'm hopeful that I'll have that ready. There'll be an announcement about that hopefully in a couple of weeks. It's being mixed. It's being mixed right now, and I look forward to using that as kind of a teaser or a taste of what the album is to come. And then people will hopefully pre-order the album by going to richierivera.net and sign up and be the first to find out about the pre-orders, get other kind of exclusive behind the scenes content in the making of the album. And it's going to be, it's very cool. I will say it's the closest that I'm ever going to feel to being pregnant, where I feel like I'm in like the 9th month of this thing. And
Okay.
I'm like, just get this thing out of me. I just want it done.
That's done. Yeah.
That's kind of, I mean, I'm very, very proud of it. But I'm very much looking forward to it being released and out there in the world. And people have been asking about it who know me for a long time. And I'm finally going to be able to show them what I've been working on. And
that is so cool.
Yeah, it's a crazy album. It definitely, like I said, it was not written necessarily for public consumption. So it runs the gamut. There's everything from melodic rock songs to singer-songwriter stuff to grand orchestral type stuff. There's some industrial moments. There's even a twinge of country in a song or two. So it really, I tried to encapsulate this experience that I had the best that I possibly could. And whatever that was going to take, whether that's going to be a 3-minute, 45-second song or a 14-minute song, both of which are on the album, or whether that's going to be an orchestra, or whether that's going to be a kazoo. Like, I don't care what it's going to take, as long as at the end of every song, I can sit there and say, that's how I felt. And so that's
there you go.
That's been the goal.
Awesome. And it's been much worked on process, I see. And you said, and you're like, yes. So definitely when it comes out, definitely I'm going to get one. I definitely
Oh,
want to hear it. I definitely, yeah,
with,
you post away everything and I'll repost it. Send it to me however you want to do, and I'll post it, repost it, or you post it right on my page. I
okay.
have 2 pages. One's a group page on Facebook. Well, they're both on Facebook, but the other one's like the actual like business page.
Yeah.
So, but it gets posted to both of us, so no worries. So
Okay.
definitely, that's an amazing accomplishment. I cannot wait to hear it and see it.
I'm very, very proud of it. It has been a labor of love, more labor than love, but I'm, yeah, it's quite a thing. I never thought I'd ever have a solo album, so the fact that it's almost here is pretty cool. And like I said, I'm hoping that I'm looking at a late fall release for it, so it's going to come
Okay.
pretty quickly. So
Absolutely.
if you go to richierivera.net, look for the pre-order tab, which you'll see, and just sign right up. It's right on the very first page, and get keyed in with everything that's going on.
Awesome, so cool. So everybody, get your pre-orders ready. Get in
Do
there
it.
and get this, and also subscribe to your YouTube channel. Subscribe to Front Row Promotions. Subscribe to Richie Rivera's page. You
Yep.
got it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, go to everything on Facebook. There's a personal page. There's also a professional musician page, which has been kind of dormant, but that's going to change very quickly.
Awesome.
And so check that out. It's just Richie Rivera official, Richie Rivera music. Same thing on Instagram. It should be Richie Rivera music. And yeah, hit me up. Stay connected, and yeah, you'll find out everything you've always wanted to know, and a lot of things you didn't.
Absolutely. I'm so glad. I've learned a lot of stuff about you tonight. I've learned a lot of things I never knew. Yes, and that's very cool. And definitely keep me posted with everything.
For
And
sure.
send me and post all your music on my page. I would love that.
Absolutely. I will shoot you a copy as soon as it is fresh out of the oven.
Yay! I can't wait. I cannot wait. So, you sent your socials where everybody can find you.
Yeah. So on Facebook, if you go to Richie Rivera Music, or you should see Richie Rivera Official, one of those two. One's personal, one's professional. Sign up for both. Richie Rivera Music is Instagram. YouTube, I think, is also Richie Rivera Music. So yeah, just keep finding me, keep connecting, and you'll see everything I'm getting myself into.
Awesome. So everybody out there in the music world, you hear this? This is my order to you. Do this.
That's right. Lisa has spoken.
That's right.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, I think that's it. I have like 50 more questions, but I'm sure you want to stretch out and relax a little bit more.
No, yeah, it's all good. If you have anything else, I'm happy to talk. If you want to wrap it up, that's cool too. I'm down for whatever.
Yeah. I've got a couple more questions I can throw in.
Sure.
So what do you like the most about being a musician? Like the most?
I think the thing that I like the most is the effect that you can have on people. I think it's a fundamentally both selfish and selfless act where I get pleasure out of performing music and expressing myself, which is great. But then I also am able to give people, at least I try to give people, a smile and to take them out of whatever it is that they're going through in life. And so I think that element, that connection, I think is the thing that I love the most about it. And I think it's kind of unique to music. I think that people, they look at acting and TV shows, films, whatever, and they can be engrossed in the story and they can find themselves in the story.
Yes.
But there is a fundamental understanding that the people you're seeing on screen and the things that you are seeing on screen aren't real. Like,
right.
Like like people aren't actually traveling at beyond light speed in Star Trek or Star Wars. Like, there's an understanding that this is not real. I think music is a little different because it feels so much more personal, and people take it with them wherever they go, and it's the soundtrack
Absolutely.
for their lives, and can be there for you if you want to party and get drunk with your friends and have a great time and get into trouble, or it can also be a sympathetic ear when you're going through something maybe not as fun, and give you maybe a sense of hope that tomorrow will be better than today. And so I think that ability is maybe the best part about being a musician, is to give that gift to people.
I love that, Richie. I love that. It's really, really cool, because it's a release when you go out to the clubs or you go out to see live music, and you want to escape
Yeah,
all the headaches and all the week long and the bills and the rest of the stuff, and let me just get out. And then when you
yeah,
get out, you're enjoying, it's like one big happy party,
absolutely.
with your friends. Yeah. And there's nothing disrupting anybody. Everybody's out to have a good time.
That's right. That's right. And maybe that's one of the reasons why I like music from the 80s the
I
most, is
do
because it
too.
is, it's inherently fun, positive, anthemic music that just makes you feel good. And, you know,
Absolutely.
like I said before, I'm very lucky to be doing it.
And I love it. I love that. I want to see that mixtape. I want to see you in that.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
come. I want to see that soon. Even if you hit PA or Maryland, someplace, because I can get to PA from time to time.
Okay.
My best friend's sister, my best friend, who is like a sister to me. We word this. So she lives in PA, and she does what I do, but she's behind the scenes. I'm in front of the scenes because I like to do the camera stuff. It's just what I do.
Right. Right. Yeah.
But I want to, PA, Maryland, wherever, you've got to tell them, whisper in their ear, you've got to come down to Baltimore.
All right. Yeah. The last time I played Baltimore, I played there twice with Janet. Once was in, is it Ocean City, Maryland, which I guess is not Baltimore, but yeah,
Yes, Ocean City. That's like about 3 hours from here. Yeah.
oh wow, I didn't know Maryland was that big. Okay, so
Yeah.
geography is clearly not my strong suit. So we played there. We did play a place called the Fish Head Cantina.
That's much closer. Yes,
right.
That's like more like 25 minutes away.
Yeah, yeah.
That's closer. That's closer.
Okay, we'll take it. So yeah, but Baltimore it's a lot of fun to play. I hope we get back there.
I do too, because now I need to see you live, banging the drums and your smile, all of it. I got to see it, the whole picture.
Yeah.
I got to see the whole package there. Yes, it's going to be perfect.
All right, throwing sticks and barely catching them. Yeah,
yes,
it's going to be great.
You can throw them to me. I'll catch them.
There you go. All right. Well, yeah, it'll be like we'll have a juggling act going back and forth.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That'll be so cool. And I'll end it on this last question. Maybe 2, maybe 4. I don't know. I just love talking to you. I'm having such a good time.
Oh, good. Me too. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. What venue would you say, if you could just pick one that's your favorite, that you would love to play? Just pick, if that's the one that you want to play in, that stands out above the rest.
That I haven't played in already. I would say maybe either the Staples Center or the Forum in LA, just because that's kind of my hometown crowd. That would be pretty amazing. Maybe Madison Square Garden, just because that's like the ultimate.
That's where everybody wants to go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's probably not the most original answer, but yeah, any of those kind of places, I would be more than willing to play if they should come calling. So
awesome.
One day, I'm still working my way over there.
There you go. And what have you been, since you were from LA? Have you been to Whiskey A Go Go?
Oh yeah, I've been playing there since I was 16 years old.
Wow, that's so cool.
Oh yeah, so cool. Yeah. There's footage on YouTube of us with Janet playing the Whiskey a few times.
Okay.
So yeah, the Whiskey is kind of, at least in terms of the clubs that are still left on the Sunset Strip, it's probably the place I've played the most out of all of them. And so I guess maybe that's like my home club. I don't know, but it's a lot of fun. It is still a trip to think like all that history is there. And I guess maybe growing up in LA, that is kind of lost on me, or I took it maybe a little bit for granted, because I remember the last time we played there with Janet, one of the opening bands, the guy got there a little early. We were doing our sound check. He got there and he, in the middle of our sound check, he got up on the stage, which just in terms of etiquette is not something that's normally done. Like you normally wait for the band to be done and then you go on stage. But in the middle of our sound check, he walked up on stage and everyone's kind of looking at him like, what are you doing, dude? And he was this older guy and he just looked around. He's like, I just had to stand on this stage just once and just take it all in. And something like that it's pretty, you forget sometimes that this place that I maybe have played a bunch of times is meaningful. It's holy ground to some people because of the history, whether you're talking the Doors, Van Halen, Motley Crue, whoever it is, everybody that's ever been anything of a rock band has graced that stage at some point. And so
Right.
it is hallowed ground. And so I played the Whiskey many times, and it's always a blast. And I hope we can do it again. The last time we were there with Janet was 2023, I think. And so we're due. So hopefully with this new album cycle coming out with her, that we'll be able to get back there.
That is sweet. That'll be awesome. I've never been there, but I've always heard about it and I've always wanted to see what it was about. And I know it's a pretty big thing. And there's another place called the Rainbow. What's out there?
Oh yeah. Well, I could tell you stories about the Rainbow for days, but that would be another podcast, and you have to put that behind a paywall because it's the stories of the Rainbow are legendary. It is the happiest place on earth. I don't care what Disneyland says. The Rainbow is the happiest place on earth. And so
that's the best place to be.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I was kind of like Norm walking into Cheers at the Rainbow for a while when I was living there. And that's my home away from home. It's glorious. It's ridiculous. It's amazing. And every time I go back to LA, I always make a pilgrimage at some point to go back to the Rainbow and just sort of see what it's like. And it's fun now because it's like, before, at the end of my time in LA, I was kind of getting burnt out on going there all the time and seeing the same faces and all kind of stuff. But now it's kind of like going to the zoo. Now it's kind of like, oh, look, the monkeys are over there. They're still doing that. And oh, look, the giraffes are over there. And oh yeah, the pelicans are still doing that. Like it's a trip down memory lane for me. And it's a place that never dies. And I'm convinced if there's ever a nuclear holocaust, the two things that are going to survive are cockroaches and the Rainbow, because that place isn't going anywhere.
I like that. That's cool. Yeah. Maybe one day in my lifetime I'll get out there and see it like for real.
I highly recommend it. Just you walk in and it just oozes rock and roll history. It's pretty cool. And sometimes it's literally oozing other things, but as far as you can just sort of sense everything that happened there, and it is a magical place. There's nothing else like it.
It's like Skittles, like it's magical. Yeah.
It's rock and roll Skittles. Yes.
There you go. I love it. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. Oh, all right. Anything on your bucket list that you would like to do that you haven't done yet?
As far as once the album comes out, that'll be a bucket list item. Again, playing some of these places. I've never played in Sweden, and I've never played in Japan. And I think those two places would be some serious bucket list contenders for just places to play. I've been lucky enough to play all over the country and do some international touring as well. But yeah, those two places I think are kind of, they've always eluded me up to this point. So I'm hopeful that maybe in the not too distant future, I'd love to play Sweden rock. I would love to, play Budokan in Japan. Like I would love to do all of those kind of things. And so I'm still striving for that.
Awesome. That would be cool. And be like Sweden. Yeah. Japan. Awesome. Absolutely. I know they love our music from here.
They do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is awesome. So yeah, I think I'm all done.
Okay.
Questions. I'm thinking, I know there's probably 10,000 more, but I'm so out of sorts. I'm trying to keep what happened in the beginning out of how it all started. I'm like, "Arr."
Yeah,
But
no, you're a champ. We pulled through. So
we sure did.
yeah, and when the new single comes out and the pre-orders start, I can come back and we can talk a little more about the album and stuff.
It faded a little bit.
Oh, did you glitch out?
I didn't hear it with the last thing you said. It now it's starting. I just gave it praise, and now it's going to be going crazy.
Yeah,
so go ahead.
the technology gods were listening. So I was just saying that when the new single "Burnout Bright" comes out and the pre-orders start for the album, if you want me back, I'd love to come back and we could talk maybe a little bit more about that kind of stuff and get a little more insight into all that craziness.
You're absolutely. We'll schedule that. We'll get that on the books when it comes out. Boom, boom. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. I appreciate it.
We'll get the music being played, all of it. We'll hear it. Yes.
Right.
Awesome. Oh, okay. She said she's going to be flying out to where he is, and you can be front row. Maybe you can get a surprise flight. Oh, that would be so cool. Thank
there
you,
go.
Sheila. Yeah.
All right. Oh, I make a hell of a tour guide.
There you go. That is perfect. And she said, Richie looks like a fun-loving guy. Oh,
that's just a filter I'm using.
Oh, no, you're a sweetheart. Thank you so much for coming here. I enjoyed every minute.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it, and it was awesome finally connecting. And we'll do more of this down the road. So thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome, and you're welcome anytime. And you post all your stuff on my page, and definitely we'll have you back on and on again, and then on again and again and again.
Awesome. I'll just be your co-host.
Continuous. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Sounds like a plan. Sign me up.
Awesome. You got it. Well, thank you so much for coming, and thank you to everybody who's watching this and my show, Front Row Promotions, and continue to watch and continue to support live music in the making, music everywhere. So definitely, and support Richie Rivera. Yes,
please.
yes. There we go.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure. I'll see you later.
All right. Bye. I gotta hit the button. Oh, I gotta hit this button. It said stay tuned. Something, hold on. I don't know what it's doing. All right. I'm waiting this. Oh, here it is. There's another button I gotta hit. Thanks, Richie.
All right, bye.
Bye.